to another episode on Let's Talk Football Careers with myself, Barry, and a very familiar face joining me today, Ian Holloway. Thanks for joining me, Ian. How you doing?
I'm all right, Barry. How are you?
Yeah, all good. You're not long home, I think. You were away to Luton yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know what time it is at the minute. Let's have a look. Yeah, 10 o'clock. I've had about 7 hours sleep, which is good for me. Didn't get back till sort of half 1.
Straight onto a podcast. What a legend. Well, I'll do a wee summary for you, right? I've got current Swindon town manager and ex-player, played over 600 games with 3 spells at Bristol Rovers, spells at Wimbledon, Brentford and QPR. Best known in modern times as the most charismatic manager of your generation. I've also got down here, you won Division 3 as a player with Bristol Rovers, yeah?
Yeah, I played in all 4 divisions.
Aye,
on loan to Torquay as well.
You must be one of the few that have done that, that have actually played right through all the divisions, eh?
Yeah, normally the good ones start at the top and stay at the top.
Dr. Wyden. Well, I've got you, right? See if we could talk about your youth, right? Taking you right back. Your upbringing. How was your upbringing? You were brought up in a council house, I believe, as well, eh?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to have a mum and dad who stayed together. I was the youngest of 3 kids. A brother John, who's 9 years older than me, sister Sue, 6 years older than me, and then I came along. I think I was an accident, but a mistake. And my mum said I was the best mistake she ever made. So, and my dad blamed his mates up the club for having one too many, I think. But no, I had a wonderful. I just focused on football. My dad loved it. I wanted mum's attention. I had it because I was her youngest. Brilliant. And then I focused on, my dad likes football and I like that and I like being with him. So I went everywhere with him. My brother hated football and I found that niche and it was me. It suited me.
I believe your parents lived in the same house. I mean, it's right up till, the later years anyway. I mean, they were in the same house. I read right through,
eh? Yeah, mum and dad never moved. Mum liked a base, a family base. Dad was all about family. And he loved it. And he was a provider. He was born in 1928. He was an old-fashioned fella. And he loved the fact that I loved football. So we stayed in that house, stayed in that area. As I was growing up, playing football for the county and what have you, other clubs wanted me, but I didn't want to go anywhere. I wanted my family base. I stayed at Rovers, and that was where it all felt right for me. I felt they were looking after me. So.
And was it Rovers you grew up supporting, Ian?
Sorry?
Was it Rovers that you grew up supporting?
I didn't support anybody at first. It wasn't until I got put 2 years playing out in my age group up at the school. The school asked my dad if he thinks the school thought I should go for a trial with the county. So my dad, we didn't have a car. So my dad got his boss to take me up to Cheltenham, played for 5 minutes, got brought off. I was fuming, really upset about it. And 2 scouts came over and said, "Who are you? We'd like to." One was Bristol City, one was Bristol Rovers. So Dad organised them to come round our house the following day and made me make a decision on which club.
Brilliant, eh? So different, from how you do it now, eh?
Yeah, it was weird. Bristol City came in and said, "Oh, you're brilliant. You never have to buy another pair of boots, and we'll give you a contract, an apprenticeship, and a pro contract till you're 21." I was only 9, and then Bristol Rovers came in and went. First off, he went, "Which one's he?" And then there was me and me mum and me dad, and I put my hand up like an idiot. And then he went, "My scout tells me you're average. How good do you want to be?" And then he told me, he went on about, "You probably won't make it. We'll give you great training, and it's all down to you. And I'll check your school reports. And we got people from Wales and Bristol, and you'll be playing each other every month. And if you ain't the best, we'll get rid of you." Wow. So it was all about just how my dad used to say to me. So I said, at the end of it, he said, what do you think? And I went, "Well, I think I ought to go with the mad one. How do those others know how good I'm going to be?" And my dad had a tear in his eye and said, "That's the best decision you'll ever make." So that was my love for Rovers in a nutshell. And that really molded me for the rest of my life, because I was determined not to fail.
Yeah. And who was the manager?
I didn't think
who was the manager?
The other way around was any good, you know. And if you look at football these days, the good ones at certain ages get so much given to them, it almost ruins them. So I'm glad I was in my time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm not now. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I speak to a lot of pros in that were playing at the same time as yourself, and they all said that, and you were able to be your own person as well. You know, you never get followed by the social media and newspapers. You kind of live a life as well, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to learn so much more these days because everything's out there. Do you know what I mean? Everything is out there. People got cameras on their phones. So everything you do is going to be looked at, scrutinized, magnified, all sorts of stuff. So I think it was easier back then, but you know, now I try and bring that sort of guidance, if you call it. It's almost like a army type of guidance. You know, you've got to be this. You can't. You know, you got to be determined. You got to be getting ready for the knocks and bumps that the world gives you. You know, whereas now I don't think they're ready for that. So you know, I wouldn't want to change anything, and I wouldn't want to change who I am. So I'm glad I came out of that era, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. And who was your first manager then? Who was the manager at the time? 1981. I've got here. You turned pro.
Yeah, that was. We changed about 3 or 4. Terry Cooper was one. Bobby Gould was that as well. I signed when Don Megson was manager of Bristol Rovers, and they had his first team staff would go and take us under 10s, under 11s, and they had a program that they were bringing you up through. It was fantastic. The senior pros made me, because as apprentices we had to do jobs and mops and polish the floor and all that and get everything ready. These days,
and it was a privilege to be doing that at that time, eh? You know, you felt privileged to be doing that.
Yeah, but it was all part of it, and you had to do that well as well. It wasn't just how good you were as a player; you had to do that well. Otherwise, they thought you had a bad attitude. So, yeah, it was it was like a machine. You were turning out fit, hungry players, because no matter how good you are, that don't give you a ticket to go get on a bus and go, I'm going to be the best in the world. You got to work at it, and all the best in the world do that. You know, it's absolutely unreal. But we were in fear of not being good enough all the time, and that's what kept you going. You know, whereas these days they almost got everything, and you know, it's a weird old scenario. But as I say, I've seen both sides of it, and I think the way they brought me up was better than what's happening now.
Yeah, there's too many players now that they've financially made it before they've even achieved anything in football, you know, and that's bound to have an effect on them, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. That's why a lot of football supporters are feel that they got the right to shout and bawl at them. Because hang on a minute, how are you earning that sort of money? Because you know the game is evolving in a way that is more business than pleasure, and that's not what it was. Everything was pleasure for us.
Yeah,
I got pleasure out of playing. Fans get pleasure out of watching. They should do. And you know your club's going to go through good, bad, but you're not going to change your club. As a player and a manager, you can't stay at the same club all the time now.
No, it's impossible. You know?
So it's all about trying to get all of that right with the new generation, and I'm delighted to be having that opportunity. I had 4 years out of the game, and now I'm loving every minute of it. So you know, it's and all this. My experience is life's not just about experience. It's about having experiences. That's when you know what good is and bad is, and that's when you can make choices. So, you know, we all should be ready to go through all sorts of traverse, all sorts of things that happen in your life, and just still keep going. That's my advice to anyone. Just keep going. You might have to evolve. You might have to change. You might have to evolve your own thoughts, but you know that's what the game's about. You know, and it's such a wonderful tool. This football. It doesn't matter where you're from, what country you're in. Brazil, a lot of places haven't got anything, but they had the best players in the world for years and years and years, and nothing made them prouder. So, wow, isn't it? It's quite amazing. Absolutely. What a game.
It brings so
Unbelievable.
many cultures and people together. I mean, I went on holiday about 4 or 5 years back, and I ended up going back to the same place about a year or two later, and I ended up meeting this guy. He actually was Spanish. He was a Madrid fan, and he was blind. And I got up to him and I started to hear my accent, and right away, and all we were doing is just chucking football words at each other, and it was fantastic. Big cuddles and everything. It's what football brings. It's amazing, eh?
Well, to me, it is. I look at a lot of things and what pros do these days, you know, and a lot of them get a lot of stick. It's not right. It's not always justified, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Sadio Mane, what he's doing for the people in his country.
Yeah, I know.
What he's building, what he's doing. What a magnificent person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it is incredible.
Yeah.
And you don't hear good
You never hear about it. You very rarely hear about it. That should be a story. And there's loads of players that are doing that, African players, and they're giving back to the countries and such like. And you very rarely hear any of it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sell papers as it used to be the quote. Eh?
Well, I think in Great Britain, our biggest asset. What is our biggest asset? I think it's our football. I think it's better than anywhere around the world. I have to be honest, because we're totally committed to it. You know, the people of our country are committed to it. We have been. Our grandmas and our granddads have just brought us up and hang on, this is who you like, and the camaraderie, the banter that you have between certain fans, and then at times it's got ugly because it was hijacked. The people who want to fight, you know, football ain't about fighting; it's about fighting for the ball and then doing that and then having banter after. That's what it should be. So, I mean, I don't think there's another game like it, a team game that gets you so emotional. It's so up, so down. You can be the best team and lose. That never happens in a tennis game, does it? It don't, does it? The best person always wins, because whereas in a football, you could be the best team easily and you win by luck sometimes. You get what I mean? So
supporting my team,
it's so incredible that the ups and downs, and it mirrors life. It really does. You know, you have to be ready for the downs. And you have to enjoy the ups, but you have to try and stay on the level if you can. And that's the challenge that it brings all of us. But it should bring you joy.
Yeah. My wife says that. How can a 90-minute game of football determine your mood over the weekend? And she's not got the football ethos, but she says, I can see how the joy it gives you, the happiness, the downs, the ups, and how it levels out and everything. And it's fantastic. Eh?
Yeah, sometimes if your club's a bad one, it don't level out, does it? You're constantly Swindon, and their voting in the last 15 years have been rubbish. But in the end, it will. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
In the end, it will. At least they have been in League One. At least they have been in the top division.
Yeah.
They had a couple of spells there. Whereas Bristol Rovers, my club, haven't.
That's typical, eh?
So what I'm saying is there's you have a choice. You have a choice to go in. You have a choice. You can't have a choice who your owner is. You can.
Yeah.
And I know people think they can do that now, but you can. So what you got to do is make sure it's there forever, and you keep loving it, and you just shout and bawl about what's good about your club, not what's bad about it. And hopefully you'll have those good times in the end.
Yeah. And can I ask, right, say from the touchline and being a manager and hearing the fans get on your back now, how hard is that? How much does that relate onto the pitch? Do you feel that?
Well, you imagine being sat on a bus stop and then there's people, right? There's people walking past you shouting stuff. How would you feel if you could get to them?
I know, it's terrible, eh? There's no other
walk. Yeah, but you'd have to ignore that and just smile, because you're not allowed to swear. You're not allowed. And if you are, they're now going to ban you again and again and again. They'll take previous into what you've done.
Yeah.
They're making you non-human. It's impossible. And part of you could call it a privilege, right, to be a manager. You have to earn that right. I guarantee you. There ain't one rubbish manager. There ain't. We've all had to go through hell and back to actually get the chance to be chosen. So when you do that, you understand that's part of it, but it ain't right. It's not right. And you got to try and bin it and leave it, you know? And this is what it's about, your professionalism and about how you handle your mind.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, sometimes I wish I had my own plumbing company and I could go along. Once I got that job, I can put the the radiators on the wall without anyone trying to take them off. But
yeah.
in football, I have a midfield player, and the midfield player is now playing against the other midfield player. So he's putting the radiator on the wall. The other bloke's trying to pull it off. So how tough is that? And you can't always get it right, can you? So this is my whole point: is it looks easy, it isn't. You want to be there, but you can't. So you feel like you can moan when really deep down you're a supporter. So where that very word, supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a manager. Now you're a head coach.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
It's absolute nonsense because
So,
you have to manage the people. And if you're a head coach, you can't just coach them. You got to lead them.
Yeah.
And now the owners want to lead the club, and they want to get rid of you. And the more they do that, the more they're destabilizing whatever they're trying to build. It's absolute nonsense.
Yeah. And it all comes back to the money side that we were talking about, and the business side that again, you know, it's just it changes, and you can see it in other walks of life as well, you know, but it's nothing we can control, unfortunately. Can I just touch into, you moved to Wimbledon, you spent a season here. This was round about the time Dave Bessant was there, Nigel Winterburn, and the previous guest who scored in the 1988 Cup final, Laurie Sanchez as well. Were you in amongst all of that when you went to Wimbledon then in 85, 86?
Yeah, that was I got sold out of Bristol Rovers. I wasn't staying there. I got really frustrated. I didn't feel the club had the ambition that I had, and it was all about the contract the lads who were brought through the club got before me, and then my year they said, "Oh, we're not doing that." How could they do that?
Nah.
How could they do that? So I got the Ravenham, and I asked to go. So I put myself on the transfer list. They accepted that. I was arguing with Bobby Gould, and two clubs come in, Charlton and Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And I chose to go to Wimbledon. So and it was a crazy gang time. So
I thought that, yeah.
yeah, it was Laurie Sanchez was become my best mate. Everybody else, he was at war with all of them all the time, Laurie, and he just ignored them, son. Ignored them. He was brilliant. But it was crazy, you know, and Dave Bassett actually said, I'm not sure I want you. He likes you. He had his assistant. He said, I'm not sure I want you. I think I got someone who's better than you. I went, who's that? And he went, Dennis Wise. He's out on loan at the moment. So in the end, he was probably right. So, but anyway, it didn't go well for me. But you know, it was part of my life that you learn from.
Part of your journey,
incredible. You know.
Yeah. Because you also went to Brentford for a short period of time as well, and then you were sent over to Torquay. And then you came back to Bristol then after that. In 1987, you rejoined Bristol Rovers, eh?
Yeah, I had glandular fever at that time. Everything went totally wrong.
Right.
You know,
right.
and it took 6 to 8 months to come out in your blood. But it is what it is. Maybe it was me not being mentally right to move away from my family. So, and things started to go well when I came back to Rovers. So under Jerry Francis. So
because you're 24, 25-year-old then, eh? I mean, it's a big leap.
Yeah, I was cracking on. I was cracking on a bit in football terms, but I didn't get to play in the top flight till I was 29 because of Jerry. Jerry took me with him.
I was just going to say that he took you to QPR and you were re-signed for big fee back then as well. You in 230,000 you were signed for, and you spent 5 seasons at QPR, I believe. Eh?
Yeah, it was my connection with Jerry Francis. Really, he saw the type of person I was. He saw the determination I had, and he valued that. And he brought me, whether I was good enough or not, he thought my attitude was. Because I would say how it was to the other people around me, and QPR had a fantastic team. We ended up finishing 5th in the table under Jerry.
Yeah,
the highest London club. So it was a joy for me. I ended up playing with Ray Wilkins, Roy Wegley. Oh mate, to have those type of people around me, Andy Sinton, mate.
Did you not come up against fellow Scott Joe Jordan? Was he not manager for City at the time as well?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. What a fantastic bloke Joe was. Honestly, what a winner. What a fantastic bloke. And we won the title against them. They should have won it. they had a little wobble at the end. They were ahead of us all season, and we managed to catch them and beat them 3-0 at our place to guarantee promotion.
And that was the 89-90 season then, is that what I was mentioning? Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, that was probably my proudest ever moment, to be honest with you. As a true gas head, I wanted to emulate what I saw when I was growing up. There was our groundsman. His name was Jackie Pitt. Right. He was centre half for Bristol Rovers, and there was a picture of him celebrating getting promotion. And he used to show me it all the time. Look at that, son. Look, you might do that one day. Look at that. You might do that one day. And that was it. And I wanted to do that. So Jerry helped us get that, you know, and as champions as well. And he kept on and on and on about the right things, you know. So he changed my whole career. Absolutely, totally. You know,
was he the best manager you worked? Was he the best manager you worked under then at your time? Or was
without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. He was a coach. He'd worked under Dave Sexton and Don Howe. The bloke was honestly, he was an absolute genius when it come to knowing what your shoulders should be like. Everybody else said you've had a bad game. Jerry told you why, and he'd go out and work with you and then show you. Him and Kenny Ibbett. We had to keep the ball, try and win the ball back off of Jerry Francis and Kenny Ibbett at Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're practicing against somebody like that and you can't get it, and then they're coaching you how to do it, you can't lose if you want to learn, can you? You can't lose. So, and we signed someone. Kenny Ibbett was walking his dog on a Sunday up in Birmingham, and he was watching this lad play, and he brought him in for a trial. Andy Reese, his name was. We signed him, but the day before we signed him, he was working in a tire factory, right? So every time Jerry was coaching him, he got it wrong. He went, "Oh, steady down, Jerry, mate. I was making tires yesterday, pal."
It's so different.
It brought the reality to where we are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me and him to be playing against them two, how could you fail to learn?
Amazing, and that shaped you, because from there you sort of tapped into management there, because you went back to Bristol. But I've got here, right, just keep me right, but one season as player manager, but you were there from 1996 to 2001 this time, when you went back to Bristol, But is that when you really started your managerial career then, 1997-ish? Was that then you took over a struggling team, kept him in the division in the first season?
Yeah, and then missed out on the playoffs the next one.
That's right, I finished 5th there, and it was beat by Northampton.
Yeah, that's it. And then the following year, we dropped right out. We should have got promoted that year. And then I got sacked at the end of that after they give me a new 5-year deal.
That's right.
Amazing. Yeah, this is football, really. You know, I was 33 and I got that job, but it's because of Jerry. Really, I every time he said anything, he improved all of us, and he talked about a team, and he talked about getting your structure right. If you're that middle one, you got to get him before you go anywhere. Talk to him, get him in. Before you go the other way, talk to him, getting him, so that all three of you are working together. Yeah. And if you now go, these two are in the right place, so you'll be strong. Yeah. So I'd go home and write down what he said, so I could help. He said, I need leaders in those teams. I need a leader in midfield. I need a leader at the back, and a leader up front. And it was everything. All I ever wanted to do was get better. At the things I was enjoying.
Yeah.
And that was football, and that was art, and that was PE. The rest of it, I didn't really take much. No, because what's the point of scattergunning? You've got to focus on what you're good at, and that was it. And then you had to learn what you are good at and bring that. You can't do everything in football. I want to be like Glenn Oldham, but I didn't have that ability, so I had to try and make the most of my ability, which was running, determination, tackling, and passing it quick and simple. And when I managed to do that, I played alongside some of those players. So you have to hone down what your A game is and bring it every time. Don't try and have somebody else's. So all of this you will learn as things go wrong. You know, so if you're strong enough to take the things that go wrong, you should improve. And that is good enough. At the end of the day, that is good enough. As long as you're improving, as long as you're enjoying the failures, because the success will come, How can you go wrong?
You just keep doing the right things and keep doing it methodically.
This is what Jerry really added, because it's all about a quarter turn of your shoulders. Right? Turn them that way. You can see him and the ball. I can see both now.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm looking at the ball, you know, and a common problem when you're coaching is that person thinks his man is so, or his woman, whoever it is, because girls can play the game now, is so important. It's not as important as where the ball is and what's happening to it. You have to be able to see that and your man, and then decide when he's not needed to worry about and go and press. Right? And this is the big thing that Jerry brought out in me, completely and utterly. I was thinking as an individual. He got me thinking as a warrior in a war, in a battle. You have to have structure. You have to have to go on and be successful. You can't have gaps. You can't have any of that. You've got to make sure that you're part of a unit, part of a machine, part of structure. And that's what's so fascinating. As the game changes, you know, the game changes, and certain managers have evolved with it, or they've tried to make their own things up. And, you know, Pep's changed the game, but Sir Alec was leading things before him with his exciting wingers and his forwards and getting the best in the world. Oh, it's quite amazing. And to see the plethora of managers and their different styles that I've seen in my lifetime is quite incredible. And I am in awe about football. It's absolutely, for me, the best thing that's ever happened, because you can never manage it and control it. No one can, because the opposition can stop you and do things, and you have to learn, and you have to be humble, and you have to just put the faith in what it is. It's a wonderful thing where that ball determines it, and sometimes, no matter how good you are, you can't control that, because the opposition are going to do something that stops you. So it's absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't want to change a thing, whether I make good decisions, bad decisions. I wouldn't want to change anything. I'm happy with how it all is.
What
about you, Baz? What about you? Where are your ties? Who's your team?
What about me?
Yeah, who's your
I support
team?
Rangers, so that's why I was like, and that's why I support Glasgow Rangers, and that's why I was discussing about the tough times, because for 2012, Rangers have been having to come back up through the leagues, and we've been having to go to different grounds, and it's great to tap into it, because you get to see the lowest levels of football as well, and how it's all different. And what teams class as professional at higher levels compared to lower levels. I mean, you've been experienced that at Swindon,
Yeah, so you've been always one of the favourites then. You chose the team that was always one of the favourites. Yeah, that's what a lot of football supporters do. I chose Bristol Rovers because they told me the truth about life. You have to want something. You have to do it. And it don't matter where you start. It's about how you're going to get there in the end if you believe.
Yeah,
you know,
and it goes back to the generations of families and memories that
exactly.
Are on that. It's brilliant. It really is.
Exactly, and not being funny, that was a massive shock to all of you Rangers fans to get sort of demoted down that pyramid and then work your way back up. I think it makes you stronger.
Was out with their control, for a fan's point of view.
Yeah, the truth is, what is in your control? Is winning in your control? No. What's in your control is your preparation and how much you want it. And then that'll take you. And if you can prepare better than the opposition, you'll have a chance of being better than them. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. Give yourself a chance.
Yeah. Give everyone
the results, providing the results will follow the work that you're doing. Right? The recruitment that you're doing. Because every team changes and moves with its players. So recruitment is absolutely, totally and utterly vital. And if you can have a mindset that the club is bigger than all of you and it's a wonderful thing to play for, the best managers in the world have done that. They've made clubs mountains that people are desperate to be on and try and climb because they've put the right thing first. You're not important. This is. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So
yeah.
that is the thing. And how they do it, they've all done it in a different way. You know, if you look at Brian Clough's story when he went to Leeds, oh my God, that's how not to do it. You don't slaughter what the manager did before. You don't slaughter the players to their face and say, so however good Clough he was, he made a terrible mistake then.
But he's learned for it.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been watching it on the telly recently. You're trying to get little snippets that I could add. I pick them up to add to my group because of what's coming next. We don't know what's coming next. And I got some real young lads, 19, 20-year-olds. And I got some experienced ones, probably 7 or 8 of them. And I'm trying to exploit. I haven't got the middle ones, you know. So they're either really old or really young. And it's really important for me to try and get little snippets to, this is what he said, this is what he's done. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The game itself, the ups and downs that everybody has, and how strong the leaders are. You know, it took Fergie. He built 4 different teams while he was at and Arsene Wenger, Arsenal. Look at them while he was there.
Yeah.
So when you get rid of a manager as quickly as you are you really going to be any good?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I really don't think so. You got to get the people right, and you got to put an infrastructure underneath. But the most successful clubs in the world, in our country, have had long stay managers.
Yep, this chopping and changing managers all the time. It's so frustrating because you get, I mean, talking back even the last 5 years, there's Rangers now into their 4th or 5th manager, and you try and get behind that manager, and then you get behind another manager, and then you're saying to your friends, right, we'll get behind this man, and there's no continuity there, there's no stability there, and it's so difficult for a fan to watch that change all the time.
Well, if you look at the Premier League, you've got Amarin the month before he got manager of the month.
Exactly.
And you've got Maresco, he got manager of the month. What you don't want to do is get manager of the month at all, and you'll be gone.
It's true. It's so
How
true.
Does that make sense?
It's so true.
Look at Celtic, mate. Look at Celtic right now.
Another example. See, 4 months ago they were flying. It's mental how quick it changes.
Yeah, well, that's football.
Right. Talk about your time at QPR. You went on to manage QPR for 5 seasons. You came in though, and you were kind of tasked with trying to stop them getting relegated, but I think it was just too little, too late when you joined. But you got them rebuilt them and got them back promoted again. The following season.
Yeah, that was a really difficult period. You know, the club the size of QPR to go into administration. We weren't allowed to buy a bar of soap, let alone have a team. And I think I ended up the season, they sacked all the rest of the staff after we went down. I had no staff, just me. And I had 9 players. 2 of them were out for the following season with knee injuries.
Mad.
And I had to work and add to that group.
And that must be
there was threats. We were going to go out of business because the administrators were trying to tell us this and tell us that. You know, so that 3 years, I think that was my most successful. No matter what has happened after, that was my most successful. I had to dig in. They were on about us sharing a ground with Wimbledon. Absolute nonsense, all of it. And the fans stood with me because all of those values that I had being brought up, I needed right then. Do you get what I mean?
Yep, 100%. And I've got here, you took up gardening because you got suspended on gardening leave for getting linked to a job. I'm like, what the hell was that all about, man?
I didn't take up gardening. I told him that if you put me on gardening leave, I'm going to have to learn a bit about it. So I watched Alan Titchmarsh, and I thought, right, if I'm on gardening leave, I better learn a bit. It's just a bit of a piss take, if I'm allowed to say that, you know. But because the rules were just ridiculous. They paid me to stay at home. I mean, what's the point of that?
It's absolutely
and people think that's good. That ain't good.
No.
That is the biggest insult you could ever have.
You're good enough to do your job, but we're not letting you do it.
We don't want you in here. I mean, how bad is that? How hard is that to deal with?
And that must be so hard with everything that you gave, and then you had the 5 years there, and then to finish like that, I mean, it's brutal. And then you went to Plymouth, I believe, the following season. You signed a player after CCTV footage was shown. Could you tell us a wee bit about that? That was at Plymouth.
Yeah, we'd already signed him on loan.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he came from a big club called Heronveen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the fella that I worked with a lot there, everybody knows Gary Penrose. We were working closely then.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I got you a lad, I needed a centre half. He said, I got you this lad, but I can't find out what's wrong with him. It don't look like there's anything wrong with him.
No.
But there is, because Heronveen, he's played 100 times for them, and they've now said you can have him.
Yeah, Dutch, yeah.
I said, so what do you think? He went, well, just get him over and we'll see. So we got him over, playing. Not a problem. There wasn't a problem until I come in on the Monday morning and my lads had gone out for a drink and the police were waiting. The chairman said, the lads have done something. You got to come and see this footage. So I watched the footage and it was the doors of the club. 2 bouncers stood outside. My centre forward comes out, right? And 3 lads come out after him, right? The bouncers do nothing. They're in a little group around him. And all of a sudden, you can imagine, come. He cut, like the saloon doors, out he comes. Marcel Seep comes out, says something. The 3 lads who were going towards my forward, right, turn round. So he's obviously, you said something, right? So my forward runs off. He's left him on his own. And before you know it, the footage, one of them comes at him. He goes, bang. The other one comes at him, bang. And then the other one runs off.
Right.
Knocks 2 of them out. And then the bouncers get hold of him. So I said to the police, I said that, he went, they're badly injured. He could be on a charge. And I said, well, I didn't see him do anything wrong apart from trying to protect his teammate and actually was tougher than them. What are the bouncers doing? I said to the copper. Why didn't they step in and stop the 3 trying to bully my centre forward in the first place? I said, I quite like the look of the cut of his gym. I don't see, and if they want to press charges, they were the obviously the ones who were causing it. So I think we got no problem. Yeah. So the police went, you can't take it. I said, yes, I can. Out you go. I'm not having it. If he gets charged, I think we got evidence that it wasn't him. So I asked him, why did you do that? He went, I was protecting my centre forward. He was being bullied. And I said, yeah. He said, this is the problem. My problem is I like fighting. He said, Heronveen didn't like the fact that my mum and dad had a nightclub and I was the bouncer. He said, that's my problem. I like fighting and I'm good at fighting and I only fight for what's right. Anyway, I said, okay, out you go. The chairman said, what do you think? Should we send him back? I said, no, you got to be kidding. I want to sign him permanently now. So we did. And he ended up marrying the chairman's daughter. There you go. How about that?
That's mad. Brilliant stories, though. Absolutely amazing stories. And how did his career go on then? I mean, did he go on to have a good career as well then and play time at Plymouth and beyond?
Yeah, the funny thing was that Plymouth, I signed him for Blackpool on a temporary basis because I liked him and I needed a centre half and I like the people I know. Do you get what I mean? I like the people I know. So Plymouth, they had other interests as well. The chairman, that was his daughter's.
Yeah, of course. That's okay.
So he let me take him because they didn't really want him then. The manager who took over after me didn't fancy him. So I borrowed him on loan and he scored against Plymouth. So it was a nightmare all round, but he's a good lad. They're still together now. So,
and I think when you left Plymouth, it was just, wasn't it? You didn't enjoy the way that all went. I've got down here, discuss values and a loyalty quote. You gave a quote about you learnt a lot for that time there. That was your one thing you really learnt a lot, I think there.
Yeah, what happens in your life affects you sometimes, and it's not just you, it's what happens to your family. And at Plymouth, unfortunately, I lost my mother-in-law, my wife's mum. She had cancer come back the 3rd time she was fighting. And that was a horrible period for me. And I got angry with one of the board members and I should have I should have not. He thought he knew the players better than me. He was telling the board things that against what I was saying. So I thought, well, what's the point?
Nah, that's it.
What's the point? And so I left. I should have never left that group. I should have never left the supporters. That was as good as we were doing. We were fourth in the championship, and we were playing some wonderful football.
Yeah, is that probably a biggest regret in football, Ian?
Yeah, I should have never left. I should have just carried on until the end of that season. But you can't help the emotions you feel.
No.
You want to be listened to. You want to be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying things. Oh, we've asked Paul. Paul Sturrock was their last manager. Why would he go and ask him?
I know what's
Why
that.
Why didn't he ask me? And these are the things that get you sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and things like you said, you would be able to handle that and maybe conduct it a wee bit differently. But when they know you've got personal things going on and they're still doing that, it's broken down all together.
No, it wasn't. It was me. I didn't manage it right. I should have been able to manage that. Put what was happening at home in that thing and not bring that anger into work. I shouldn't have done that.
But you're human again. It goes back to what we were saying there. You're human. Can I touch on just a wee bit, right? Just before we go through your career, right? I've got down here. You've also had a lot of challenges with trying to work with the BSL and getting that brought into a proper way of life for kids that have, your two kids have. Is it 2 or 3 that are deaf?
I got 4 children, and 3 of them are profoundly deaf.
So did you have to then obviously learn sign language? Because I've had to do it with members of my family as well, because it was never taught. There was nothing there for me to say, right, all right, your child's deaf, right? So what we'll do is we'll put everything in place. I'll tell you a wee backdrop of my story, right? So my uncle and his partner, they're both deaf. They had my relative, it's actually my wife's side, so I'm getting a little bit confused. But they had a laddie who's effectively a cousin, and I took him into nursery, and he was brought up in a total deaf household, and they just left him to go, and he's quiet and that, and every time there was a noise, he's going like that. And I says to the nursery, I says, what have we got to put in place here to help kids that have got a slight disability or something that you might, and they says, oh, we'll have to look into that. And 15 years later, it's now changed, but you'll experience the same challenges, It's horrendous,
Yeah, the weirdest thing is that every child who's deaf, as they're growing up, whatever they've lost, they learn in different ways. So you one size don't fit all in deafness. You've lost so much. You're separated from other human beings.
Yeah,
because you haven't got a voice. And so you're more or less in isolation until you find someone. And even if you are deaf, you might not get the education that you deserve because no one's signing to you. We've learned. Our first son was hearing, then our identical twins, we found out that they were profoundly deaf when they were 16 months. So up until that time, we didn't give them one sign. Everything they were getting was this.
Yeah, verbal.
They couldn't hear it. They couldn't lip read. So, and then when we start to do drink, you want milk, milk. Whatever the minute we added that, there was joy, and it opened them up. And then we got given another little daughter who was deaf. So we were already signing. So if you saw her life, if you saw her life compared to her sister's life, it's proof of what you should do. BSL is absolutely British Sign Language is fantastic. You can use that in different ways. Sign supported English. So you give a sign, drink. So you say it. That's you're giving the kid. So we have to find schools that would do that. Our daughters needed sign language because it helped unlock them. So we have to move around the country for that as well. So, they've all grown up wonderful. They've all grown up perfect. They've got their own children. And the funny thing is, 2 of them have got 4 hearing children between them. Only one of my daughters has got deaf children.
Because it was a gene, I believe, with you and your wife, they said that it was a gene that comes together that could effectively heighten the odds.
Yeah, we were told that's what it is, the gene between me and my wife. only produces deafness in girls because my son's hearing. Well, that's not true. We don't know. We haven't looked into it enough. But two of my three have got cochlear implants now.
And that opens the world up as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, but the world is changing in a great way.
Yeah.
Because we could sign to them down the phone. But sign language was the key that unlocked
everything.
Unlocked the door. Yeah. And for me, if anybody's worried they got deafness in their child, learn sign language as quick as you can and help them.
And can I say as well, right? I've just learnt that just sort of through my own choice, and there's nobody. I mean, my wife's uncle and that. I see them a lot, but it's a different setup. You're in with your own kids, but it is quite an easy language to learn because I always emphasise to people: if you're deaf, you're going to make it as easy as possible to communicate. And there's things like cat and dog, cat, and things like that. It's quite one of the most easiest languages to learn, and it does travel universally as well. Because I've spoke to people in foreign countries, and you can still kind of sign, that football and things like that.
It's a wonderful language. It's added to me, and it's made me focus on communication. At the end of the day, what you could ask ChatGPT, right? It's unbelievable what that comes up with.
Yeah.
And I was watching a program the other week. There was about bears in the woods. The woods are still there in America. If you look at the size of, they got like whole countries size in woods, haven't they? So why aren't bears taking over the world? They can't cooperate and they can't communicate.
Right.
So my daughters have lost half of that.
Aye. Can you put it
they
like that?
Communicate with most of the world. Do you get what I mean? So
wow. And to be the whole world's opened up again, and that's how it should be. I just wanted to touch into that, Ian, because I know when you were, I don't know if it was playing or in managing, but I think you were travelling as well, nearly 250 miles to keep them at the same school so that their education would come through and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. And when you see your kid grabbing hold of mum and not getting in a taxi to go to school because they hate it, they don't like it. Because they're being told not to sign because their first school did, and in their first school they were taught English, right? They were taught sign supported English, and they were taught BSL. They were taught the difference between all three, so they had a chance.
Right.
And the best person we ever met was a headmistress of a school up in St Albans, and she had a picture on her wall of a brain and two ears, and it said, "These don't work, but this does."
Brilliant,
And what she did, she was deaf herself, and she made every one of her teachers adapt to make sure that child is getting the information that child deserves.
Aye, and that's
it's really helped me in about coaching and make sure that everybody has a chance to learn. Mate, it's what's that? Oh yeah, I had to drive up and drive back to make sure that they could be in the right school.
Was it driving? I knew it was like a 250-mile drive or something. You were
I get out, train, and drive and come back.
But then it's the sacrifices you make, when you're so fortunate that this didn't happen like 50 years ago. I mean, you imagine your age trying to grow up with the difficulties that were in place then.
This is what I'm saying. The modern day now, what I'm on my phone signing to you. Well, without that, how could a deaf person be even in the world?
Well, my brother-in-law, he suffered with dyslexia, and this has gone back 20 years before sort of mobiles were so great. To communicate, my wife's uncle had to get a hold of me. They then phone, to try and communicate between the two of them. Now they've got that. It's so much better.
Yeah, but we could make it so much easier for everybody. And if they just brought British Sign Language into every school. Because our daughter, right, our youngest daughter, when she was 10 months old, you could have a conversation with her, right? She could tell you that she's hungry, she wants some food. You know what I mean? She could tell you way before your brain can think of the words.
Because you're naturally what you communicate. You naturally want to communicate. But no, thanks for that. That was lovely just to touching into that. So I've got here, right, you had a spell at Leicester. Let me write down here. Championship team, first Leicester manager and over 50 years to win opening game, and that was against Bristol City. That must have been quite nice.
Yeah, mate. Leicester was a bad period.
It was. I've got it.
I shouldn't have left.
No.
That
was
Millen. 2 weeks before I left, we beat Leicester 3-0 at Plymouth. I should have stayed with my Plymouth team. I thought I could. Yeah, football gets you. You think you can change everything, and you think it's you. It's not. It's the players. It's who you've got there. We had 72 players at Leicester. When you pick 11, the other 61 were fuming. So absolute joke. But mate, at the end of the day, you try and make every club a little bit better when you leave it. Like Maresco said the other day, you try and do that. None of us want to get it wrong.
No, if you can leave the club in a better position than when you joined, you're doing something right, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, all you can do, you hope it goes well, but normally football ends in tears at the end of it.
Yeah, for the majority. So I've got here, right, 1 year out, that was when you kind of regrouped and reassessed, and then you went to Blackpool, and you couldn't imagine what was in front of you when you got in Blackpool.
Well, you could. You always dream about achieving what you want, what you're setting out to, you know. That.
I've got a wee quote here for Matt Gilk, sorry. It says that he's used to play Don't Stop Believing, beginning in the dressing room and everything. And Brett Ormerod was talking as well, and he says it was the most fantastic time in his career.
Yeah, it was my favourite time apart from now. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now. Yeah, I influenced the group with the help of the other people around me. We didn't have many, but they were fantastic. Every one of us, Steve Thompson, Phil Horner, there was only 3 of us. Everyone played their part. I think we bounced off the chairman and the CEO, Matt Williams, and Carl Oyston. He helped me because I knew where I stood with him. Matt Williams was close to him, and he was also very close to me, and it all worked because there was a lot of us who got things wrong, and I was determined not to get anything wrong, and I was determined about teaching them things, and I had a different mindset. I didn't want to get promoted. I knew we were going to.
Yep, you just
and I got them to all switch that. The universe gives you a want if you want to do something. It keeps that want. When you know you're going to do it, you change it all. It's amazing the power that gives you. I made them take a little picture of the Premier League, right? And stick it on the fridge with a magnet. And every time you go to that, make sure you don't open the fridge and eat what you shouldn't do, right? Because that's where we're going. Right? Yeah. That's where we're going. 3 teams are going to get promoted this year. Why can't we be one of them? And that's all I used to keep saying.
Install the belief all the time.
Yeah, but the thing was, it was about the lads, how old they were, where they were, how they motivated each other, and they had a great big prize at the end of it. 5 million quid shares back between them.
And I'm sure Brett said that as well, Ian. Sorry, I'm sure that...
What is wrong with a bonus if you do well? What is wrong with a bonus?
I know other walks of life, it's not an issue, but in football, it's like, oh, they get enough money. It's like...
But what it was, those lads became a real true group. They're still on WhatsApp together now. That's 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's brilliant, eh?
Quite incredible. And some of them have gone on to be managers, and they've said some nice things that what it was about. And you know what? All I wanted to do was try and make a difference to them. And it's wonderful what they achieved. It was wonderful for the crowd. It was wonderful for the place. Fantastic for me. I met Sir Jimmy Armstrong. He'd come in for a cup. Sorry, Jimmy Armfield. Sir Jimmy Armfield, who'd come in for a coffee, right, and have a chat. Oh my God, he took over Leeds after Don Revie and then Cloughie, you know. Wow, the bloke was amazing. He only played for Blackpool. He didn't want to go to Man United. Oh man, you wouldn't believe what happened. And they had this song. This is the best trip we've ever been on. We were losing 2-0. They were still singing it.
Just gone for it, enjoying it.
Absolutely. But those players had done all of that. Those players, every one of them gelled. Everyone, it was completely insane. And what I used to stand there and watch the small-sided games, and I'd have paid to be there. It was whatever the fans saw on a Saturday wasn't as good as what I saw in the week. Because they were at it, they were on it, they were focused, they had everything about them, and I'm so proud of them all. I'm absolutely unbelievable.
Brett was talking about Charles Adams' free kick, and he says, the excitement in it, I'll hate to send you a clip, but the excitement in it, he says, and I was standing right next to that. He says, it was unreal. The passion that they talk about it, that was a free kick in the playoff final, I believe it was.
Yeah, but the day before, did he tell you what happened the day before?
He was banging the line. He says, fucking stop that. He says, you saved them.
Yeah. No, I said that, we got to watch Cardiff's free kicks because they got the best left foot in the league.
Right.
And he went, what? I said, there was a lad who took him for them. I said, he's got the best left foot in the league. He went, I have. I went, well, go on then. Take one now then. This is better than yours. Right? And anyway, he hit the bar. I went, he would have scored. So anyway, the following day, he gets one chance and does it. And if you watch him, he's running over at me, and then he realizes, oh no, the lads are giving me stick, so he turns and goes back to them. But life's about challenges, and you got to find ways to do it and say it. But they were all, I got to be honest, we borrowed somebody on loan. We lost Neil Eardley with 14 games to go, our right back. We borrowed Seamus Coleman.
Oh yeah, Everton.
From Everton. Oh my God. That kid changed everything. Because he wanted to win so badly. He was the youngest kid. He was absolutely insane on that group. If you ask him, we were good. And when he came in, it was like having another winger. Unbelievable. His mentality. Life's about all benefiting from the same thing, which is being together, getting pointed the same way, keeping going no matter what, not blaming anybody. So,
That's brilliant. And what was your favourite press conference when you worked at Blackpool? Was it Blackpool I don't think it was Blackpool, when you got asked about Real Madrid for a reaction. That's how we're going to end the podcast, by the way. I'm going to ask you what your reaction was like to the podcast. You can just shoot away.
Listen, when we got into I was under no pressure, was I? I wasn't expecting. We were expected to go down in the championship, so we ended up getting in the playoffs the last day, and then winning all 3 playoff games, and we were in the Premier League. So, and we started well, to say the least. You know, we won our first game away because our stadium wasn't ready. We won 4-0. I think we were top of the league there for a bit until Chelsea smashed it later on. Then we got hammered away at Arsenal, right back down to earth. 6-0, I think it was. And we drew with Everton. So our first 3 games, but by halfway we had 28 points after 23 games.
So you're looking, we need in our 6 points.
So what I'm saying, I was never under any. So I was enjoying myself, and and I'd answer questions in a different way. I can't stand being boring. So, but you. Really, I learned that from Bristol Rovers. Anytime anybody asks me a question, I want to kill them. Oh, you won. Well, did you play well enough? Oh, I won. I was horrible. I realised when I went to QPR, I can't be like that. Right?
Change and adapt.
So I had to try and change and try and use the press to help me. But maybe I've gone too far. I don't know. Do I really care now I'm 62? Not at all. I couldn't give one monkeys about anything now. I try and be a good person. I'm not going to do what anybody asks me to do unless I'm interested in it. And really, that's why I'm on your podcast. I love the way your enthusiasm was. You wanted to keep going. I wish you all the very best with it. And what I'm trying to say, football belongs to all of us because it teaches us so many things. You know, it really does. It's a monumental game.
It brings bonds.
One of them is different, no matter what. You cannot replicate things. Some teams manage to do it, but these days you have to change, you have to adapt, you have to learn, you have to keep moving. And in life, I want to keep moving. I want to keep learning, because if you have that enthusiasm, right? I say I'm above ground and I'm warm. That's good enough for me to start the day. You know, that'll do.
Definitely.
What else do you really need?
No, because there's some people haven't got that. You know, they get up in the morning and they're not able to get about and they're housebound and things. And they get a lot of joy for watching these things as well. You know, it's brilliant. Eh? Can I just tap into just because I'm very conscious I've kept you an hour, you know, so I'll not be long. But Crystal Palace and Millwall, you guided Palace to promotion as well. You took over them in November after you left Blackpool. Eh? How was that experience then? Because you were there and then you ended up in Millwall, though. What happened there, sorry?
Yeah. I got them promoted, and then I only lasted 8 games.
That's outrageous.
And then Millwall kept coming back. I needed a rest, I felt, really, but I took the Millwall job, kept them up the first year, and that was the biggest problem. If I'm being brutally honest, they weren't really that good to stay up, but we managed to win. I think it was something like 8 out of the last 10 or 11 games.
You become the victim of your own success a wee bit.
Well,
then,
no, at the end of the day, you do, but you know, we had 86% of the budget was eaten up, and unfortunately, with the 14% left, I brought in 4 players, and 2 of them were good, the other 2 weren't. So, you know, at the end of the day, they chose to give it to Neil Harris. And good luck to them all. You know, you don't mean to get anything wrong, but you know, at the end of the day, I didn't have the same feelings about football as an awful lot of their supporters. They see it as that we're going to fight and beat people up, and I don't. That's the last thing on my mind when I've got 8 grandchildren. 4 of them are girls, and I want to take them along to football safely. So, I think banter is all about you being able to rib me and me being able to rib you, and it's respect. I don't want to shut you up by punching you. I don't want to be better than you by punching you or kicking you or hitting you with something. That's ridiculous. That ain't football for me. Anybody who thinks that is part of football, I'm sorry. Going into cage fighting. Go and take on people. Go and take on people that want that. Most people go to football to want to support their team.
You work all week, that's what
you lot ain't welcome in football. Get stuffed, get lost. But when I started saying that,
turned against you.
Thrown out.
Because I've seen you having
there you go.
There was an issue at Swindon as well for somebody. I don't know if it was a coin or someone was through on the pitch, and
they ripped a seat out of someone's ground and threw it at the goalie.
Outrageous,
it's unacceptable. I'm not having that sort of behaviour.
Nah, quite right, and to stand up to it, because it's something that a lot of managers go, oh yeah, that's fans, that's football, but no, call it out, and calling it out at the level that you're managing it now.
No, but what I'm trying to say, any one of us, right? That person is representing us, by the way. So why are we allowing them to be like that? To be that hideous and stupid? If I'd have saw him doing it, what are you doing? And I'd have dragged him out the ground by the ear. And if he wanted to fight, I'd have got the and I would have reported him. What's wrong with people? What is wrong with society? I don't get it.
You think that's acceptable? Nah,
it ain't acceptable, is it? It's not acceptable. You know, you go to the ground and you buy that ticket. It doesn't guarantee you a win, does it? And it also don't guarantee you to be moaning and whinging at those players, right? For any reason. You should be supporting your team.
You wouldn't go to the cinema. You wouldn't go to the cinema, and if the film wasn't turning out the right way, start shouting at the cinema, the telly, and try to fight with everybody in the crowd.
Yeah, but I think it's a very easy way to get in a little group, get together, and people have hijacked football. This ain't the main supporters. The body of the 99.9% of football fans are brilliant, right? But we put up with this. Why? I don't get it.
No,
I don't get it.
It's a fear factor. It's like, and people are scared to come out and say what's right. Sometimes it's madness. But what you should have done is you should have got the ghost off the training ground to maybe sort that. I watched that story. So what's the score here then? Right, so the training ground built close to what was a cemetery or something. Could you tell the story, please?
No, that there is an ancient burial ground very, very close to our pitches. You know, and
you've seen a few strange ones.
I got a Wild West Indian on my right? On my, because I loved them. I used to watch cowboys and Indian films, and when I was young, I would cry when the Indians died and they got shot, but it wasn't fair, was it? They had a bow and arrow. They could ride on their horse and shoot it. They only killed to eat, and they used everything of that animal. They were brilliant. We should have learned an awful lot from them and overcome the whiskey drinking cowboys and shot them. That can't be right. That can't be fair, can it?
Definitely not.
But
there was a window got smashed there, I believe.
Yeah. What I'm saying, Indians believed in Passover, and you could carry on and do things. So how do we know if you're walking about on someone's graves that you're not offending them and they might still be around? So spirits, I'm a very spiritual person. My wife, she taught me an awful lot. We go to Glastonbury, we go to festivals, we're hail and welcome and all of this. And, at the end of the day, it's only about respect. But on a CCTV camera, when it's not put there for a TV show, and someone comes in and there's a broken glass on the floor and they watch it back and it's been off the shelf. And then a white shimmery thing comes down the corridor and goes swoop. Now I think that's interesting. And they have
all right, folks. Well, unfortunately, that's where the recording ended. Ian lost his internet. But just at the end there, he just messaged me just as I've came back on, just to say, look, hope everybody enjoys it. Thanks for the time coming on the show. If everybody could like and subscribe. And next up is Terry Butcher. Thanks.